Hey folks, it's me, Charles Butler. It's Monday, March 20th. And I'm sitting here working on my book and doing some homework, doing some research. Something happened to pop up on my screen that I just couldn't help passing on. And that was a piece about John Wayne, and it's entitled, let's see here, what is it entitled? John Wayne takes apart liberals, feminists, and Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter has really done us a great disservice and injustice. These little morons, they just don't get it. People don't. Anyway, I'm going to go into this in a logical manner. John Wayne. So I listened to the clip, and I remember hearing John Wayne say these things. This was in the 60s. And of course, I was militant, and I was angry. And I was angry about how white people treated us. I was angry that we had to have a civil rights march. I was angry that when I moved into a white neighborhood, old white women would come to the door and just stare at me with this hateful look. And I didn't like it. I didn't like having to deal with it. It was hurtful. It hurt my soul. It made me afraid. But I had to go out and deal with it because that's what we did in those days. I shouldn't have had to deal with that as a boy. I shouldn't have to deal with those kind of issues, but I did, living in an all-white neighborhood, going to all-white schools, and it wasn't all bad. We had great times. I had great friends, all kind of friends, black, white, Hispanic, just great guys and girls. Still friends with a number of the kids I went to elementary school with, believe it or not, and high school, of course, junior high school. Just great people. And I can sit here and name, 20 of them right now. Just great people that I will always treasure, admire, and love. And they've turned out to be just great human beings and great Americans. So, with all of that in mind, going through this turbulent time, of this black identity, trying to bring equality. Well, Dr. King is assassinated in '68. I'm in the 10th grade. I go outside, I sit on the register, and I start to cry. Mr. Monroe, my homeroom teacher for 3 years at Pontiac Northern, came, put his arm around me and said, "Butch, it's going to be okay." And I said to him, without hesitation, "Mr. Monroe, if they shoot Martin Luther King, what will they do to me?" I was very, very, very afraid. Because we lived in a town, Pontiac, Michigan, which was known for being the head of the Ku Klux Klan in the North. I don't know if that was true or not, but we had a lot of Southerners who came up from the plants. Everyone always talk about the blacks who came up from the South to the plants. We have a lot of Southerners, as my dad used to say, hillbillies who came up and worked in the plants. Interesting times, interesting place. So we're sitting there doing, so I'm talking to my dad about John Wayne, and John Wayne had just made the movie Green Beret. And I wanted to be a Green Beret at that time. Silver wings on my son's chest, make him one of America's best. These few men will die today, have him wear the Green Beret. So I wanted to be a Green Beret and wanted to serve my country. And at the same time, knowing that my country, and not all of my countrymen love me. I dealt with racism. I dealt with discrimination. I dealt with the hatred on a daily basis. For instance, just one thing that, you really didn't take into account. We had to walk to school. I looked it up on Google. It was 1.7 miles every day I walked to school from the 7th grade through the 12th grade when I didn't get a ride. 1.7 miles in the winter. And we didn't have the kind of equipment we have today. In the spring, the summer. But I got an education. But you know how my parents played we walked 5 miles to school. That doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference, but I'm going to cover that in my book. Whatever you're experiencing or whatever you experience, just because you had it worse doesn't mean that your children should have it as bad or they have it a little better than you. So what's the difference in 2 miles and 5 miles? It's still a long way. Hello? Anyway, John Wayne made these statements, and really what he was trying to say was, we shouldn't have these differences. We should be trying to be together. Blacks were trying to find their identity. Our identity is American. Identity is being black Americans. But these people like Stokely Carmichael, Jesse Jackson, they just took this thing to a whole nother level that we didn't need, and that's still holding back progress in America for black Americans. Like some of these young men in the March Madness, they should be told, son, when you get out of bed in the morning, you need to comb your hair. Comb and brush your hair. You look like buckwheat. This is not natural. Even the Africans don't look like these people. Where did these people get this stuff from? These so-called black Americans who are African Americans who are identifying with Africans don't look like that. Look at them. Except in the caricatures and the misrepresentation of Africans. How stupid are these young people and their parents for letting them act like this and naming them all these stupid names? Shaniqua, Shanae. Hello, guess what? And then the people have nerve. Well, my name is not Shaniqua, it's Shaniki. Well, your mama needs to learn how to spell, girl. Anyway. I'm just saying. John Wayne was a great American. I understood what he said. When you see this video, you'll get it too. I really like John Wayne. I grew up watching John Wayne every damn Sunday of my life after church on Bill Kennedy's show on a station called Channel 9. I think it was called CLTV or something like that, but it was a Canadian station and it was Channel 9. We picked it up in Detroit from Windsor, Canada. And Bill Kennedy had been a B movie actor, and he'd always say, there I am, watch me, I'm in this scene. Oh man, those are great times. It was a great time sitting with my mom and my dad, my brothers, watching television on Sunday after we'd gone to church. Chicken in the kitchen frying. Oh man, mashed potatoes boiling to be mashed, and then some gravy made, and some cornbread, or those rolls, those little rolls we used to get that just kind of melt in your mouth. Oh boy, those are great times. Those were John Wayne days. But I was telling my dad, I said, Dad, John Wayne's a racist. He's a racist. He's not a good man. We grew up watching him, loving him. He was, part of my family. I really admired John Wayne, and I just can't believe that he doesn't like black people. And my dad just looked at me, and, he looked and kind of smiled, and he nodded. He said, son, do you know who Woody Strode is? I'm like, yeah, Dad. He played Sergeant Rutledge. He said, yeah. He said, he said, Woody Strode was a movie actor. Who do you think got him started in movies? I don't know. I didn't know. He said, John Wayne. Woody Strode was a black actor who played a lot of cowboy movies in the late 40s and 50s. He also played football at UCLA with Jackie Robinson. Duke, or Marion, as he was called in those days, went to USC, played football at USC. Anyway, Woody Strode got jobs working in movies because of John Wayne. Black actors got jobs because of John Wayne. And my father taught me that at the height of the militant movement in America. And he said, son, not all white people are bad. In fact, very few white people are bad. He said, but you have to always judge people by what they do, not what they look like. And I always remembered that. And I always thank my father for that. Because he dealt with a lot more discrimination than I ever have in my lifetime. And if I have any anger about Jim Crow and discrimination and mistreatment, it's more about my father and my mother and my brothers than it is about me. But anyway, love you all. You take care. And look at this piece on John Wayne, and you see the frustration of a man who loves America, who loves all Americans, blacks, whites, women, Latino. He married several Mexican women. He married several Latino women, and they were all gorgeous. I mean, but here's a man who personified America. And his frustration was that we could not make a transition in America that was settled and that people just got along and did what they had to do and went through life and were treated fairly. That's what he was talking about, because that's how he was. But there's some people in America who are not like John Wayne, who are not the American that John Wayne was. So I'm cutting this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please pass it on. Just share it with you a little of my life's experience and my thinking of John Wayne, the Duke, who's still one of my heroes. My father was my first hero, my major hero, and still my hero. But John's up there. John Wayne, the Duke. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.